Okay, I'm guessing it's time that we have a conversation about who I am and how I ended up playing Minecraft and why you're watching this video. Since this is a pretty boring episode in which I'm mostly going to be digging and picking, I really don't want this big pile of gravel in my living room. Can you tell? In fact, I'm going to end up breaking down and building shovels. So you'll get to see how that happens. Because if I keep whacking at this with these blocks of glass, I'm gonna go out of my mind. That's a lot of gravel, dude. Okay, so who I am. Well, I'm going by the name Granny Gamer 1. My real name is Rogie Riverstone. I have another YouTube channel where I discuss, I guess you could say more grown-up issues than Minecraft. More serious issues. Things that are just important to me. And I started putting up a couple of YouTube videos because I had some friends who bought the game, and it occurred to me that it would probably be smarter if I just made a separate channel so I could make tutorials about just the basics for them and just start getting involved in the Minecraft YouTube community a little bit more than just as an observer and a subscriber. I don't remember how I stumbled across Paul Soares Jr. I seriously don't. I thought he was a little goofy, and you know he makes corny jokes and stuff. But I was watching his tutorials, some of his earliest ones. I realized the guy really understood how to play video games, and I do not. There's how you make a shovel. One piece of stone or iron or diamond on top, and 2 sticks. I made a bunch of shovels because you go through them really fast. So I realized the guy really knew about computers, and I realized he really knew about gaming on computers, which I goof around with games and stuff, but most of them are online flash games, and I don't take it very seriously, and I don't know a lot of keyboard commands or mouse tricks or, stuff that other people just take for granted about gaming is all still pretty new to me. And I watched a whole series of his tutorials, and I put up with his corny jokes, and I thought, I could learn a lot from this guy. And one thing about Paul is he's not afraid of combat. I am. I'm not really afraid of combat. I have physiological reactions to fear that might be a little different than what a lot of people experience. A lot of stuff about this game is about being scared that you're going to fall, or something's going to get you, or you're going to drown like I'm about to right now. And a lot of people think it's fun to be the boss of the fear. And I can understand that, and I would really like to get to that place. Sometimes I am, and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes just playing this game is being the boss of the fear. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's really hard to handle the neurochemical stuff where I have panic attacks, my heart racing, I get sick to my stomach playing this. Part of it is the game perspective will make you dizzy. And even Paul complained about that. Remember when he was saying he was getting nauseous and stuff from playing the game? It really does mess with your vision. I've learned to keep it not on full screen so I can see the rest of the monitor behind the game. So it kind of subconsciously tells my brain, this is just a game, this isn't the real world. So my brain doesn't start seeing things as being real and therefore getting scared. It just reminds me that it's a game. It's only a game. Now, why is that? Is that dirt up there or gravel? Because when gravel hangs in midair, that's dangerous. It means they put an invisible block under it. Anyway, it probably is just dirt. I just can't see it. So, I got a copy of this game about a year and a half ago from someone who's just about my age, maybe 10 years younger. And they were playing with somebody who was just about our age, too. And we were playing on a server that they had set up. And they have been gaming for a really long time, and they're computer geeks and whatnot. They know how keyboard operations work, like strafing. Nobody had ever told me about strafing. I learned about it on the wiki, where you go sideways. You'll notice I don't do it very often because I'm just not in the habit of going sideways. I can't find the keys fast enough. Like in combat, I'd be in bad trouble because I don't know how to go zig and zag to keep skeletons from shooting me and stuff. So they had this little server, and they started adding a bunch of stuff to it. They added Tekkit and now they're really into some really serious stuff that just, I don't want to learn all that. I just want to have an adventure. This is where the hole pops out. So I will put a piece of glass over that or a door. So I have a back door that goes out to that other little pond where I'm growing my wheat. But right now, I'm closing it up as though there were monsters and I could be killed. Or a chicken could wander in, or a pig. And I'm putting up a torch so that I will remember that that's where I want a door. But right now I'm busy digging. Anyway, I know that I don't know a lot about gaming, and even though these people were trying to be nice and include me in, there's some stuff about the gaming culture that they just take for granted, like teasing each other and stuff like that. And they didn't know that sometimes teasing me about stuff that I cannot do or do not know just made it that much more scary because I was embarrassed and I was anxious that I wasn't playing the game right. The reason I have neurological issues is that some of us don't have parents who are kind, and my mother was very abusive, and she beat me a lot, and I have brain injuries. So I get afraid really quickly because I also have something called post traumatic stress disorder, which means things like this game can trigger me to think that I'm really in danger. And I can panic and I can really get sick. I can really start thinking that I'm a bad person. All the stuff that I was told when I was a kid, you know. Not all of us have kind, loving, gentle parents. And I think we need to be a little respectful of each other about stuff like that. I'm not saying you have to treat me like I'm special. There's millions of kids out there that got treated a lot worse than I got treated. But I'm saying that all of us have differences, and we need to be a little bit more patient with each other about that. Yes, I really am old. I'm 57 years old. No, I am not biologically the grandmother of a child, or an adult for that matter, because I'm old enough to be. I almost had a living child, but did not. If she had lived, then maybe it would be her decision, of course. Maybe I would be a grandma now. But I've been sort of a foster grandma to a lot of kids in the neighborhoods I've lived in. They'd come over to my house. I'd teach them stuff about how to cook and garden and hang out with my animals. I had chickens and ducks and geese. And at one point, I even had goats for a while. And we taught each other basic auto mechanics because I drove an old funky truck that had to be repaired. And we'd take like little field trips and go downtown to museums. And I was living in Albuquerque, which is a tourist town, so there were lots of gift shops and stuff where we could get really cool ideas about craft projects and things we could do. So I've been sort of a foster grandma to kids for a pretty long time. Some of those kids went to college and have children now. Anyway, I came here mostly because I don't see a whole lot of stuff about people with disabilities playing games. In Minecraft, it helps if you can see well, it helps if you can hear well, because a lot of the clues about what's going to happen or what's going on or what's right around you are audio clues. If you know which direction you're hearing a sound like lava or water or monsters or rain or cows or other players, it really helps you plan what you're going to do in the next couple of seconds before something sneaks up on you and bites you in the hiney. So it occurs to me that people who hear differently might have a harder time playing. I know people who see differently have a harder time playing because I see differently, and this game was not made for people like me. So I'm working on how it can be adapted so it's more accessible to people who have real disabilities, who have difficulty utilizing the mouse and keyboard functions, the audio, the visual, like using texture packs and so on to adjust the video. So that's why I started this channel mostly, was to help provide support and networking with other people with disabilities so we can play the game better and we can have a community and support each other in how to play the game. That's why I'm here.